Welcome back to another episode of Cageside. We are back. We've been gone for a couple weeks. I've been on vacation, to be quite honest, but luckily there hasn't been much going on in the MMA world, so I don't feel terrible. But the social media has been doing pretty good, and I appreciate all these new followers that are facing our product for the first time. Please join us. Please follow and subscribe. Cageside Show on YouTube, Cageside Show on Instagram, and just about anywhere else. Cagesideshow.com for all your fight needs and awesome merch. Listen, finally we got some good fights to talk about. My boy's Chris here to talk about it, as always. We have the Octagon Doctor. I don't know. The guy's either helping somebody with their medical emergency or he's ringside. I don't know where he's at today. I'm sure he's in Florida, but he's the man. He's going to help us break down some of these fights and current events. So let's get to it. What's up, brother?
Yo, what's up? It's good to be back.
What's going on?
In Florida. Sounds nice. Nothing much. How are you?
Where have you been? What have you been up to? I missed this situation. I've been missing the studio mode. What's going on? What's new?
Nothing much. Out of school. Just been working, chilling, relaxing. I'm starting training, doing some Muay Thai. It's going good.
Ooh, tell me about that.
Yeah, so it's over at King of Prussia with Aljo MMA. I'm doing it for about like a month now, and it's going good. I'm really enjoying it.
Aljo MMA, not related to Aljamain Sterling, is it?
No, it's Bill Aljo, the UFC featherweight.
I don't know, dude. I heard Aljo, I got excited. That would be North Jersey. So what made you start now, and what made you start with that martial art?
I mean, I did Taekwondo a while back, like 10 years ago. They call me a prodigy, but
they called you a prodigy?
Yeah, blue belt, red stripe. I won everything I was in. But I fell out of love with it. And then, recently, like the last 2 years, I really got into the UFC. And then I have a bag in my basement. I do it all the time. I really love it. And then I'm just like, you know what? I wanna do some striking. Muay Thai seems like the coolest thing because it has, kicks, punches, knees, and elbows. So I decided to do it, and it's a really good workout. Like, Jesus Christ, every time I'm exhausted, I'm trying to get back into shape, and then it's going fun.
How long before you're able to spar? Like,
I'm not sure. I just got like my ring thing like a couple weeks ago. I don't know how long till I'm able to spar, but
are you eager to get to that point, or you're kind of like slow down, one thing at a time?
No, I mean, it happens when it happens. I'm not like eager, but I'm not trying to go like super slow. Just natural progression, I guess. Whenever the people think I'm ready, I'll be ready to do it.
Are you doing this for fun? Are you doing this for exercise, or are you doing this because you want to have a future in combat sports? Be honest. Be honest with me.
I would say it's mostly for fun and exercise, but you never know. I mean, what isn't it? I think Adesanya started at 18 kickboxing, so you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So maybe in a couple of years you'll see me. Maybe you won't. But
can you imagine? Can you imagine? You'll be
6'2".
Bro, you'll be the best, well-versed. Are you 6'2"? You're not 6'2".
6'1.5".
Are you really?
No, I swear. Yeah.
I don't know.
Genetics.
You're gonna have to get the measuring tape out. This is why we're never gonna do a live show together, because I don't want you making me look like a short. I thought I was 6 foot until Petrosky. I stood next to him and he said, "I'm 6 foot, so there's no way you're 6 foot." I'm like, "Shut up, bro." So now I wear higher sneakers. I 6 foot is where I'm going to call it. So anyway, well, that's exciting that you started training. We can jump actually, Mr. I don't know. I can't be Mr. It has to be Dr. Octagon, Dr. Jaded. I don't know. Let's welcome him into the mix. What's up, brother?
What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys. How's it going?
It's good, man. I got good news and I have bad news. Which do you want to hear first?
At the same time. Let's do it different.
Oh shit! Well, let me see if I can do that. The good news is Chris over here, or wherever he's at, started training. So we were just talking about that. He started training. What is it?
No,
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. There you go. Muay Thai.
Ooh, your shins. How are your shins? How are they feeling?
They feel pretty good. They feel pretty good. They're pretty solid. I did soccer for a long time. They're pretty conditioned.
Well, so the doctor's going to tell you you're wrong, and you're going to probably break your leg just like McGregor. But anyway, I won't put words in his mouth. The bad news is Caitlin joined us. She was the first to join us, but she had really shitty Wi-Fi, and it was not working. And I think this happened to you before. So she went frozen, and I said, listen, just don't worry about it. We'll do it again, because to do a choppy interview is kind of pointless. So I apologize, man. You're here. You know, I know you had some questions, but we'll have some fun either way.
You know what was fun? What was fun about her? She fought with on the Ultimate Fighter with one of my good friends with Helen Peralta. Peralta.
Yeah,
Helen Ianza, who is a savage, and she was able to weather that storm and get a W, which is really cool. I mean, I love and support Helen, but that was a great technical fight. So, you know, I would.
And Helen was Helen a bare knuckle fighter or no?
Yeah, she was a bare knuckle. She was brought up in the Iowa scene when I was the main doctor over there in Iowa, doing all the fights and traveling the whole state of Iowa. Man, she. You know, the local girls in the WMMA scene, the level is quite different from the men. So the skill level, man, Helen got there so quickly, and she rose to the top so quickly of the whole state. She was cutting through girls like a hot knife through butter, and she's vicious. She would tell me she would knock out girls in the first round and come tell me, with her finger in her mouth, like, my toys break fast, So she's a character. So I wanted to talk to her. Maybe I'll get a chance to do it when she's on again. But I wanted to talk to her about her interactions with Helen, because Helen is first of all, she's a superstar, but she's a character, man. She's awesome. Yeah. I love her to death.
Well, she's definitely going to be back on. We'll try to get her. I said we'll do something fun. Maybe not the current event related. We'll just talk to her and kind of chat to see what's going on. You know what? I was going into this interview anyway, slightly unprepared in the sense that there's something about tough that I fucking forget always the way it works. So I know she won that fight, but is she still in the show but just waiting for the final tournament, or is she out? Do you know?
I think she's there, and most of the contestants stay there just in case there's somebody that goes out with an injury. Then they kind of have a chance to jump back in the mix. But I know that like always, all of them will get the basic tough contract, so they'll have one or two fights in the UFC afterwards. So they, it's fruitful for them to keep training in the house and trying to gather as much knowledge from these high level coaches all these weeks.
And it's obviously she's done the show, she's home, so only she knows what the outcome is. Exactly. Which we went through that situation when Andre Petrosky got off his tough. But there comes a point where they can finally start talking, because I have been chatting with her for a while trying to get her on the show, and she was like, I can't talk about what I'm doing right now, so it's kind of pointless to talk. I have nothing to share. I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden she's like, I'm in. So something happened with the show.
Yeah.
where now she can share. So she'll be on soon enough. I apologize to anybody who tuned in for her. You'll just have to subscribe, Sorry, come back.
Her fight was awesome with Helen, and she's what I like about this girl is she has a very innate sense of controlling the tempo of the fight, and that's a very special characteristic that you can have as a fighter. You can slow it down with your jab, move around, and make an aggressive opponent like Helen tentative. That's not an easy feat to do. Helen is a grinder, and she was able to keep her at the end of the jab and with a solid frame and with footwork. So that's it's exciting as a female fighter. It reminds me a lot of Montana de la Rosa in tough, with good frame and good distance. Another fighter that's like that, of course, Valentina Shevchenko. Valentina is a monster, controlling the range and dictating where the fight goes. So that's exciting. Whenever you see that feature in a female fighter, you're like, oh, this is one of the girls to watch. So yeah, props to her.
And she's interesting because she was a cheerleader who then I guess didn't get her name on the list, right? So she wasn't going to continue cheerleading. So what was she going to do? I think she did bodybuilding very for a very brief amount of time. Didn't like that, and then saw MMA live, I believe, and fell in love with it and started. But her record was not very good. But then she all of a sudden, I think she's on a 4-win streak or a 4-1 win streak, something along them lines. So she's had growth in the sport. So when you're giving all this credit to her skills, it obviously hasn't come, necessarily easy and natural. She's been working at it for a while. So much to look forward to in her career and what happens with the show. But brother, what's going on with you? What have you been up to?
Man, it's been fun. I've been developing the different shows on both of my channels, on Octagon Doctor and Dr. Jared Blog. So doing English and Spanish at the same time. So it's a lot to juggle. But I'm sick, MMA sick, content sick. So just loving creating content. Opened my own medical office here in Tampa, Florida. So dipping my toes in entrepreneurship and developing into a content creator full time too. So my hands are full.
So you're not busy. So what you're saying is that you're bored and you're not busy at all.
I'm super busy, but I always want to do more. I don't know if you're the same way. I'm like, I feel that, like, man, I there's an hour free in the day. What am I doing wrong?
It is a serious problem. I had the same exact thing. I can ask Chris, like, I'm always like, can we shift it 5 minutes? It's like I'm always from one thing to the other and to the other. And if I find free time, well, guess what? I'm gonna come up with a way to fill it. But it's good, man. That's the only way to be. So what are we thinking? I want to get to some current events and we're gonna break those down. But first, what's the temperature in the room for this weekend's fights? Are we excited? Are we not excited?
I would say moderate temperature. It's your average fight night. That's probably like 4 or 5, 3 to 4 out of 10. I mean, good main event, good co-main event, but it's not nothing crazy. Your average fight night, I would say.
Doctor, what do you think? I'm excited for the fact that we have 10 weeks in a row where we have events. This first one is like when you go to a restaurant and they're like, hey, let me get you started off with some nachos. So this is like UFC nachos. So we're gonna have some nachos, and that's fine, But next week we're gonna have some steak. So I'm happy about that. But I'll eat the nachos happy, this weekend.
I'm telling you right now, our first collaboration is gonna be MMA nachos shirts. And that's how we're going to. We'll wear it every time it's a nacho weekend. That's hilarious.
Let's do it. I'm all about that.
By the way, speaking of shirts, you might appreciate this. So I was just in Puerto Rico. I don't know the last time you went, but I was in Bayamon in a place called El Nido, which is a cool little strip right by the train there. And it has a couple not even a couple, I think like 1 or 2 bars. But the one main bar has like a store in the front that's kind of like an art collective situation or whatever. And they have really cool merchandise. So I saw this shirt, and this is Macho Camacho wearing a crop top with the big gold chain, and I fell in love with it. I'm like, how can I not have that for the show? So I'm gonna wear it today, but then I think I'm gonna put it on the wall here. I think that'll pop. I think that'll look cool.
Macho was a beast.
I remember watching Macho Camacho in front of my grandma's house in Bayamon, and they rolled the TV out to the sidewalk, and we watched it. And he had the fucking shimmery pants, all the. And I think that might honestly. So my grandfather was in the sport as a trainer and all that stuff. So I did have it in the blood and in the conversation as a family. But I think that actually might be one of my earliest memories of loving the sport of boxing, and that I think then transcended into the rest of his career, and then Tito Trinidad, and the addiction formed heavily after that. What was your earliest fight passion moment?
The earliest for me, and talking about Macho Camacho, I recently was a doctor in a celebrity fight show. Ray. Man, what's his last name? He's the one that got behind the first Gallo de Producer fight. He one of the influencers in Puerto Rico, and he has a league of celebrity fights. Celebrity boxing fights in Orlando, Florida. and I was there to cover the fights, and the main event fell through. So Macho Camacho's son,
Mhm.
Machito, was there. So he stepped in on, like, a couple minutes notice, gloved up, and it was a fight for charity. So he wasn't going all out with another professional boxer. So it was a DJ that wanted to fight. So he got in there, but man, you could see the DNA of Macho Camacho in there, because he got a furry vest. I'm like, where the hell did you come up with a furry vest and like glittery stuff to wear out of nowhere, out of an hour maybe? And he was putting on a show. He wasn't fighting the guy full clip. He was making sure that the people there were entertained. And I'm like, man, that's how you know he
A
comes
professional.
from that stock.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
comes from that Macho Camacho stock. So it was pretty cool to get to meet his son and be the ringside doctor for that fight. So it was awesome. But going back to your original question, like my love of fight comes from those fights: Macho Camacho, Tiro Trinidad, Miguel Cotto. Of course, I always loved watching, Enter the Dragon. It's one of my earliest memory of watching someone, kick ass in a fight, in a TV, in a movie. And I'm like, man, I wanna definitely do that. I want to do that, and wanted to go to karate. So that started off like the TV and the boxing fights. It was two different things, and I got to experience both. And go to a legit boxing gym as a little kid and get my ass mollywopped and cry, and then be like, no, let's do karate better.
Yeah, and then right, that's when you change your mind about what you were thinking initially. That's hilarious.
Exactly. No, you got to be. I mean, we love the sport of MMA, but we have to be completely honest. Boxing is really not dangerous. I mean, there's more deaths in boxing than in MMA in a year. But the for a kid coming up, I mean, you have to you get hit quicker. If you go to karate or jiu-jitsu, or not Muay Thai. Muay Thai is along the same lines of uh of boxing. But you go to these arts back in the day, we're talking late 70s, 80s, and early 90s. It was, the environment in karate was, a little bit more safe, and you could do the sport and not get whooped horribly. But, if you want to really get a sense of fighting another human being, it's on boxing and Muay Thai. Those are the ones that you sit as a ringside doctor. You sit next to. If I sit in a cage fight and I'm relaxed, I'm enjoying the show, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. But when I'm in a high level fight, like when I used to do the Rock Nation pay-per-views up in North Iowa, and the Golden Gloves, and you got to be on your toes, and the hits sound way different. A jab or a hook in MMA is different than when you see. I've been the doctor for a Charlo fight, and when you're there and they're in your corner where you're sitting, and you hear the body shots, whap, whap, and it sounds like a shotgun going off in front of you.
Yep.
But you're like, hey, this is different.
Yeah.
This is different.
Listen, if I had to pick, like, if somebody forced me, you got, for your kids, you got to pick MMA or boxing, I'm definitely picking MMA. Granted, I've never done MMA, but I definitely boxed long enough where at the time I thought it was whatever. I thought it was fine. But now I'm almost like, I wouldn't want my kids getting hit in the head as much as I did.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I wasn't that great at avoiding getting hit. So I would take a punch to be able to deliver another one. You know what I mean? So what a stupid thing to do. And then that's at a low level when you're at a very high level in boxing. So if you get to that point, the risks are very high. Luckily, you don't see as many deaths as maybe there could be, luckily. But in MMA, there's just so many aspects to it that I feel is much safer. But I feel like we're bringing the show down. Let's get back into some exciting talk. So we can't talk about death and then keep people tuned in. All right, there's some weirdness with these clips today, format wise. So I'm gonna go ahead and take us off the screen, and then I'm gonna put some of these clips up and see what you guys think after the fact. Here we go.
You're out there knocking people out, finishing people, and then twerking all over them. I mean, if we get to the point where, no dog in the race, you beat Pady Pimlett in London, and you're all over that cage twerking, I mean, the O2 may burn down. It'll be incredible. What a crazy scene that would be. You realize this, right? I mean, they're not going to take too kindly to those celebrations if you beat their guy.
Luckily, I have good head movements. When they start throwing things at me, I'll be bobbing, weaving, dodging the beer cans. But yeah, I'm excited to cause a riot. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
What do you guys think of this matchup?
I like the matchup. I think it's a good step up for Pady Pimlett because Levitt, I think he's 3-1 in the UFC. But it'll be a fun matchup. It'll be a fun fight. I just think, Levitt, he's a heavy grappler. That's where his strength is. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu. He's pulled up some cool submissions in the UFC. He has a slam KO in like 20 seconds. I just think Pady Pimlett is also really good on the feet. On the ground. He has a really good jiu-jitsu game, really good wrestling game. So I think their ground games will probably cancel out. And then I think Pady's the better striker, but it's a step up. So I'm excited.
What do you got?
I think Pady has shown Pady's great in marketing, and there's a lot of hype behind him. And the UFC is kind of pairing him with Molly Meatball, which I think for Molly,
I love that.
Fighting Hannah Goldie is going to be a beast, but that's another thing. With Pady, he's shown in both his UFC fights that he can get clipped, and he gets clipped, by hooks, left and right. It's something that if he's fixing it, then we're going to see a solid performance by him. But Jordan Levitt can crack, and I don't think he's a slouch in the ground like his last opponent, and he's going to get to do whatever he wants on the ground. I think for Pady, this is a test. If he can go through Jordan Levitt and finish him, he'll continue to rise. But I don't think he's going to be able to finish Jordan. I mean, Jordan has fought tough opponents and has been durable, and has good volume, has a good chin. So I don't think Pady's going to be able to drop him and in the floor finish him. So this is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not a solid Pady fan, just because the fact that I think that he's the weight stuff is going to catch up to him sooner than later. So I think I'm going to go ahead and say something shocking. I think Jordan Levitt is going to be able to kind of expose Pady and twerk his way to superstardom after the fight.
I have a question real quick. Doctor, is that bad for Pady to go balloon up and then go?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
bad for him, health wise?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something that's very important that not a lot of people are noticing, because his super fast weight gain is celebrated. But that's think of a disease, bulimia, right? You're having binge episodes of eating, and then to lose weight, you do something completely pathological. You vomit. There's other things that people do, drink apple cider vinegar. They're really bad habits. So we're getting to see this part over here, the weight gain, the binging. So we know that there's a pathological behavior here. We're just not seeing this part over here. They're not showing us this on the websites and our interviews, but it's there because if we have the binge phase, we know that there's extreme weight loss. And that extreme weight loss is not done in a completely healthy way, because it's impossible to lose all that weight in such a short period of time. So we're not seeing the full picture. So the weight gain and everything is made fun of, and he's celebrated for it. But boy, it's a serious disease. It's a psychiatric problem, and it's going to catch up to him, to his metabolism, phosphate levels, potassium levels, bone density. So for MMA, all those things are important, and bulimia is something that affects all those little metabolic equations. So it's going to catch up to him.
Yeah, it doesn't seem healthy one bit. The fact that the guy balloons so quickly, celebrate, and by the way, it doesn't look like just water weight. You know what I mean? Like the guy puts on some serious weight, and then, like you say, has to lose it. That's never good for the body, no matter what. The thing is, you can get away with it when you're younger for a longer period of time. But
it's important.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'll eat a bowl of pasta and I hold on to that weight for about a year and a half. So it gets worse when you get older. You alluded to it by saying, which I appreciate the cleverness. You said by twerking his way to the top or twerking his way on. I don't feel very comfortable seeing the man twerk every single time he wins.
Oh yeah, it's
That
I
would be
did
a scene, though. In London. Oh my
it's-
gosh, I want to see it so bad.
I was gonna say, so I don't really ever want to see it because it's kind of like funny and it's kind of cute, but it's kind of also like ooh, like cringy. But
he goes into it.
he
He's
goes
fake.
into it.
His face.
Yes,
He's
yes.
enjoying the twerk. He's looking over his shoulder, you know.
And
I'm like,
shape
oh, man.
it.
Wait a minute.
I wonder. I don't know. I wonder. In the interview with Ariel Hawani, he made me feel a little bit better because he said, "Oh no, it's just my buds. They always challenge me to do something crazy." And I'm thinking, like, bro, you like to twerk. Let's be
Exactly.
real. You like to twerk. But Pady Pimlett does some other weird dance too. I mean, both are very uncomfortable to watch. But if he beats him and he twerks, I'm gonna be ready with my phone because that's gonna give us millions of views. It's gonna be all over the fucking place. It's gonna be it's gonna be a very viral, very quick. All
He's
right.
a cool
Oh
guy.
yeah, people love that. People love that. I put up a reel when he twerked his last fight, and I didn't look at the phone for like 20 minutes, and there was like 1,000 views already, and I'm like, oh crap, there's a market for twerking fighters. That's crazy. I never thought of that.
You started the nacho shirts. Don't start now the twerking federation of MMA. Please, let's leave it at that. All right, moving on to the next clip. Actually, you might have to walk us through this one, Chris, because it's kind of a slideshow here of some social media posts.
Oh yeah. So I think a couple of days ago, Paulo Costa was going to get his like the COVID vaccine, and then they filled out the card before he got the shot administered. So he just wanted to take the card and leave. And like, so he had the card that says he had the vaccine, but he didn't want to get it. And then the people were like, the nurses and doctors like, no, you can't do that. You obviously have to get the vaccine. He didn't want to get it. So that caused the commotion. And then apparently he like elbowed the nurse in the struggle to get away with the card. So Paulo Costa back at it again. That's where his Twitter reactions to it, making jokes for the situation.
Yeah, I'll edit them in post so we can have some time to see them while we talk there, but because they went kind of quick. Paulo Costa, I remember at one point I was like, this guy's fucking Superman. This guy's going to really do a good job. And he so quickly became unlikable to me, at least, with all the antics and all the bullshit and all the weight misses and his reaction to losing against Izzy. Like, some fighters can really take a turn for not being likable in the media, at least with the stuff they do. And then now you go ahead and elbow a nurse. Doesn't matter that it was a male nurse. The first thing they're going to put in the headline is he elbows nurse. The first thing I thought was he elbowed a woman nurse somewhere, a lady. That's fucked up. So not cool. Not cool. What do you got? Any thoughts on that?
Paulo has become a little bit of a he wants to get kicked out of the UFC. You can feel it in his post. Like he wants to go and box Logan Paul and make a couple $1 million, but he's failing massively. Every time he wants to do something crazy like this to get thrown out of the UFC, I think Dana's like, no, we're gonna keep him until his contract rides out. So Uncle Dana's not even paying attention to him. So he's like a teenager kid trying to get his dad to pay attention to what he's doing.
Right. He's rebellious. He's like, if I post that I take steroids, will that help? Nope. Still nothing.
That was funny.
Still nothing. All right, moving on. What do we got here?
As a competitor, he ain't bad, but as a person, I can't stand this fucking rap bitch, and it's just like, give you an example. Khabib wins a belt. What does Conor do? Go and talk shit about him. Fucking somebody at 205 will go and win a belt. He'll go and talk shit. Like, he just wants to stay relevant. Obviously, I'm still a hot topic while this bitch ass is just fucking in his couch, fucking sniffing coke or whatever the fuck he's doing, and he wants to stay relevant. So he takes shots, but he's not going to fight. The UFC's offered him this fight. As me and you both know, this could be the biggest fight in UFC history. Why would he want to cash in on that paycheck? Because he knows I'm going to beat the fuck out of him. And I'm not a wrestler, so if I beat him, it really looks bad for his brand because I'm going to beat him only one way, fucking in his face, standing up, punching him, knocking his ass out.
I won't let you guys even answer yet because I want to share my piece. I like Masvidal a lot. Masvidal's not beating Conor McGregor in a striking match, in my opinion. Not now, at least. Or actually, not even before. especially not before. It is a huge fight. It's probably a really smart one to make at this moment and this crosshairs of their careers. Huge for both of them.
Mhm.
Whoever wins, it's big because if Conor beats Masvidal, people are going to be like, oh, of course, we knew it, but it's still huge because Masvidal is Masvidal. And if Masvidal beats McGregor, he goes right back to the top again. So I think it's a good matchup. I think Masvidal is wrong, but he always has that confidence, that Cuban confidence. So I get it. But what do you guys think?
I mean, Masvidal versus McGregor would be amazing. It would be bigger if it was in 2019 because they both, lost recently, but it would still be huge. And the good thing is, at least one of them gets to win. We get to go forward with one of them coming off a win. In terms of the matchup itself, I think it's close between Masvidal and McGregor. They're both pretty good strikers. Masvidal maybe with the power, but we know McGregor has power as well. So I think it'll be a close fight. I would be excited for it. Do I think it happens? I don't know. I would rather see McGregor versus like a Chandler and like a Masvidal versus like a Gilbert Burns or something. But they could make that fight. That would be fun. Good matchup for both guys, really. And it's not going to be a boring fight. So I don't know. It'd be good.
For me, the road for Masvidal at his weight is very prickly. He's very prickly right now. He got absolutely, taken out of the universe by Kamaru. You have Hamzat in there. You have Gilbert Duino. So he's kind of, his weight class is here, and he's kind of looking over here. He's in love over here. This Conor, smaller, coming off a leg fracture, so it looks attractive to him. So he's not really, thugging out and wanting to be a fighter. He's just looking for a fight that's more winnable for him. I don't think Conor is gonna, bite the hook right now. Everybody that talks about Conor is a benefit to them. So I think the one that deserves the fight is Charles Oliveira. Although people, MMA Twitter, they would absolutely explode if they gave that fight to Conor. But a 155 fight makes more sense. Somebody like Chandler, like it was already said, or Charles Oliveira. That's a funner fight, and it sets up. Let's say that the unlikely happens and Conor beats Oliveira, then it sets up a Dagestani duel between Conor and Makachev. So for me, it's more relevant and more profitable to the company because after beating Masvidal, what do? You beat Masvidal that your Kamaru just chewed him out twice. What are you gonna do? There's not a benefit. So it's more of a benefit to contest for the belt, even if it's against the will of all the 155 top 10.
That is wise words coming from you. I think that's the reasonable approach to it. I struggle with whether they would give him the Charles fight coming back because it makes sense, especially because Oliveira is going to want it. Oliveira knows he has the belt. He feels like he's going to win, and he's going to have his biggest payday. So it's so funny that Conor's gotten to a place that the champs want the guy who's lost nonstop, in Conor, because it's the biggest payday, and they think that that he's beatable in every way. So I'm thinking Conor returns after the summer at some point, maybe in the fall, I guess. I don't know. Well, it's going to be exciting to see who they match up against. But I think no, I was going to say. Go ahead.
When you're coming off surgery so drastic of a broken tibia, right? It's the ankle, but it's the lower part of the tibia. He has a rod down his whole bone. It takes a lot of time to heal. And it takes a lot of time for his muscles because, initially those first 2-3 months, the muscle is pretty much dying. All the leg muscles get smaller and weaker. And none of the fighters that have had that surgery have come back to a full potential. I'll say it again. None of the fighters. We have Corey Hill, who unfortunately passed away, months after his surgery from pneumonia. You have Anderson Silva, who underwent this. Chris Weidman is having a battle with his bone, and multiple surgeries, and the fragments not gluing back together. So it's who's another one? There's a K1 fighter who had trains down in South Florida as well.
Somebody just broke it.
Oh,
I think
Tyrone
this last weekend.
Yeah, I have a video of Jack Patrick, or his name. It's in my channel. Jack something. Yeah, he another fracture. They don't come back. It takes a year to come back and fully rehab from that. No fighter has successfully come back to the sport of MMA after a leg fracture and established the same level of competitiveness post recovery of the fight. So we're looking to have a depleted Conor. So the next person that gets to slash through Conor it's a benefit economically, but after that, it's probably going to be back to boxing or celebrity boxing or something like that for Conor, because at a high level, the sport demands your body to be whole and you're able to compete. Those guys, Michael Chandler ain't no joke. Gagey ain't no joke. Charlinho or Charlie Oliveira is certainly no joke. He's a monster. Dustin Poirier has done it, twice. So for Conor, it's you want to go through the same path, but now with this thing that diminished your competitiveness physically and your integrity, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
If I'm what's Conor's manager's name?
Is it Eddie? Audiatar, yeah.
Adi, yeah. If I'm him, I say, let's get the Jake Paul fight. Let's get something like that. You have more time to rest your leg. You have the potential to make a ton of money and hopefully win, right? And which you're back at it because you need a win. You need a win. 2, you need to recover. 3, you need another payday. So the 3 ways you do that is by boxing. So you box, and then you line up a massive fight in the UFC, and then it is what it is at that point. So that would be what I would say. So we'll see.
I think that would be great. Seeing Conor jump in there with one of the Paul brothers would be great. Or just some, another MMA fighter that wants to go something warm. He needs a warm up.
Yep.
We need to see Conor get a W and do something. Land a massive left. Do something.
And he's not going to get it in the MMA. He's not going to get in the UFC with the people they're going to give him.
Going back, jumping back in, even at the lower end of the top 10. It's hard, man. That top 10 is no joke, and for him, it's a beast. The same thing for Weidman, and Weidman is one of those guys that you don't want bad things happening to him. When I harken back to seeing that break happen in real time, my eyes got teary. I'm like, no, man, no, this happened to the wrong guy right now. I got misty and I cried a little bit because it's like, he's such a good dude that you hate those things happen. It happened to Conor. He's a rough dude, and he's a bad guy.
And Weidman was like, we were, as a Weidman fan as well, we were seeing the potential for him to get his shit back together, right? Like he was looking promising again, and then that fucking happened, and I felt equally as terrible because you're like, fuck, there goes his career. I mean, what are the chances he's gonna come back from this? So. All right. Well, moving on to a similar part of this conversation, and Oliveira. This is the Eagle himself.
No, he impressed me like a little bit, but every fight he go down. This one is like a little bit bad for him. Every fight he go down couple times. Last fight it was like how many times? 2, 3 times knockdown with Michael Chandler, with Dustin Poirier, with Justin Gaethje. He always go down. This is like a little bit question, Nobody ever touched my face, and all the time he go down. People cannot talk about like compare me and versus Charles Oliveira. He tapped in UFC 8 times. Please come on, when he tapped.
Who's comparing Charles Oliveira to Khabib? I'm not.
Can I start with this real quick? I got an opinion on this.
It'd be funny if I was like, nope, moving on. No, go ahead.
All right. I'm hoping
I'm gonna pull you on full screen. All right, go.
All right. Okay. I am
Tell
hoping
us.
so bad that we get Oliveira versus Makhachev next, and I think Oliveira would win that fight. I think Oliveira. I think he would beat Khabib pretty easily. I'm going to say that because here's the thing: what is Khabib? Why is he trashing on Oliveira? Like, first off, Oliveira is the people's champ. Everyone loves Oliveira. Oliveira is so well-rounded. He's so technical. He has heart now. I mean, Khabib, you weren't dropping Justin Gaethje like that. You know, you weren't knocking out Michael Chandler. I'm hoping that after Oliveira beats Makhachev, something happens with Khabib. I don't think he would. But hopefully he comes back because Oliveira would beat Khabib. I would be so confident. I would bet thousands of dollars on that. I'll tell you why. He wouldn't be afraid to get taken down because his jiu-jitsu is elite. First off, he's a better striker. He's got power. Like, he won't care. He has great jiu-jitsu. He wants to get taken down. He wants to play jiu-jitsu. Dustin Poirier had that guillotine on Khabib. If Oliveira has it, it's over. He's tapping. He's better on the feet. He has jiu-jitsu. Oliveira, I think he might be the GOAT. I'm just going to say that. I love Oliveira. Come on, Khabib, you got to stop. Just stop. Come on, let's go. Come on now. Come on.
You are so hype.
That's good.
I love that energy. See, that is what you do when you believe in something. You defend it to the end. So I think you're fucking wrong, but
That's fair.
But I love you for it, and I love that you stick to your guns about it. I don't see Khabib coming back ever. I also don't see him tapping ever. But I do understand what you're saying. I always hold on to if the real estate salesman and Ayaquinta took it to him. There is a possibility that somebody else out there can take it to him. You know what I'm saying? Like he is not unbeatable. It's just nobody else has been able to figure that Khabib ground game puzzle. So, but listen, I'm just going to clip from this episode your rant, and hopefully it pisses off Khabib, and that's my goal.
Yeah,
all
right.
This is what I think, and this is a clip. Okay,
clip it, baby.
Khabib retired, and they're like, no, he's the GOAT. That term GOAT, strike it down the middle. It does not work. You are the GAT, the greatest at the time. He was the GAT for a little period of time. He had an unimpressive early run in the UFC, Abel Trujillo, and all the fights he had. He was finishing guys. The last 30% of his career was amazing because we got to see him beat the brakes of Conor McGregor, beat Dustin Poirier, beat Gaethje, because we were excited to have Khabib fight upper crust, really talented fighters. But when he got there, he's like, see you. He grabbed his belt, a bag, and he left. So, and now he leaves, with undefeated stuff. His father passed away, so he had this family thing happening where he had to retire. Well, you retired. You were the greatest in that little period of time, and we can't take that away from him. Man, you were the greatest in that Dagestani golden era where you were the greatest. But now is Charles Oliveira is actively fighting the people that are on top, finishing, and he's the guy. You retired. It's like comparing, I'm hungry right now. So what chefs were doing in the 80s it was great at the time, not so great right now. It was great at the time, not so much right now. So he was great at his time. This is Charles Oliveira's time. And if you don't agree that it's Charles Oliveira's time, hey, Khabib, look at me, unretire and fight him and become the great at this time. The current GAT, Charles Oliveira, nothing else.
Wow.
Who would you pick in that fight, though?
Wow. You guys are so into Charles. I love it. All right. So real quick, just give me a quick answer. Charles versus Khabib. Who wins?
Prime Khabib? Like the Khabib that fought?
No, right now. Khabib comes in right now.
It's tough. I'd have to say I give striking to Charles. It's that question that we never had answered when we wanted Prime Kukui to fight Khabib because we wanted somebody that wasn't afraid to be on the ground. I'll give it to if he returns and trains and becomes top level and is able to make 155. First of all, because I don't think he can make 55 again. If he can make 55, I would give it to Khabib. Motivated and fully strapped into coming back to MMA again, I would give it to him. But he's not going to make the weight, and it's Charlie's time. Simple,
Chris,
but people are going to keep.
I won't even ask you because I think I know the answer.
Yeah,
Is
we'll
it
learn a
Charles? Is
lot.
it Charles?
We'll learn a lot with Oliveira Makachev matchup. Hopefully that happens in the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like
that's
the
gonna be
modern
great.
day Habib versus Tony. That'd be a great fight. But whether it's Makachev or whether it's Habib, I think Oliveira will win both. He's just not going to be afraid to go into the ground. He's not going to be tentative. He's going to jumping front kick right away just for the sake of it. I think Oliveira probably round 1 KO or submission. I think it's just the matchup, just the matchup. I like Habib. I respect Habib. I like Habib. It's not against him. It's just a matchup. And I love Oliveira. Come on.
You don't like Habib. No, you don't like Habib. No.
Come on. I like Habib. But
I'm
it's just
joking.
Oliveira. It's just the matchup against Oliveira was just
Hey, listen, I've gone on the record many times. I don't like Makachev. He fucking bores me to death. And as much as we want to pretend that we're like artists in the MMA world and we appreciate the art of, fuck that. I want to be entertained as well. So there's got to be a balance with it all. Makachev is no Khabib, in my opinion. So his time is going to come, and I would love to see Oliveira be the one to just get him out of that clout that he has. Moving on, last clip of the show.
Okay. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Here, step into my office. Listen, I heard what you said. Listen. Nobody gives a rip about your wannabe, don't make sense, lost your shine, so you're trying to steal everybody else's shine, backdoor MMA math.
What the fuck is wrong with Chandler? Okay, I like Chandler a lot. I like Dustin a lot too. That could have been a better clip if he would have said, "Step into my office. This is what I do to everybody," and shuts it and goes black like a knockout. Right?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Come on.
That would have been better. Yeah.
Anyway.
He needs to practice. I'll give him A- for effort, but it's for him. He can't help be the guy that talks a lot more. Have you guys seen the memes of Chandler answering questions?
Yeah. That's so funny. He's very motivational.
They're the best.
Those are funny. Yeah.
I think he takes Poirier. So.
I'm so happy that Chandler came into the UFC instead of just retiring. I'm so happy he also got his shit together. You know what I mean? Like he was able to muscle through all this crap and just show he's a fucking really good watch. He's a good watch. Talking about Makachev, that's a badass motherfucker right there. Listen, we've done 2 things that we've accomplished on the show that are important to me. We've established 2 t-shirts. One is the Nacho shirt, and I think we also have GAT. So we've done a lot. We got shirts. Chris got fucking pissed. And
he went Saiyan.
I got to rep Oliveira. You know that.
All right, Chris, do me a favor. Do you have the fights pulled up for this weekend?
Yeah.
If you don't, that's fine. I can list them. It's up to you. You tell me.
I can get it right now.
So if you can, go ahead and read us the biggest fights of the night that you think should get all the buzz afterwards, and let's do some fight picks real quick, and then let's wrap this bad boy up. We're up to 50 minutes. We got to cut this shit short.
Let's see. So I would say the main event is good. Volkov versus Rosenstrike. 2 heavyweight staples of that top 10. The co-main event is also good. Dan Ige, he's been in the featherweight top 10 for a while. He's taken on the undefeated Russian Mavzar Evloev, and he's looked pretty good recently. And then besides that, I say let's just go with those 2. There's nothing else too notable. Some fun ones, but let's go with those main 2.
But real quick before we break those down, I'll bring one up that I appreciate. Joe Selecki, who was on the show, and beat Cowboy in Fury and grappling here in Philly. He fights Alex Da Silva. Don't know much about him, but I'm writing with Selecki. I don't know if you guys follow him, but that's one to watch. That's in the prelims. And then Aaron Blanchfield, which surprisingly was also on the show, but she got kind of big real quick. And then all of a sudden now she's the first fight of the prelims. Kind of weird on a shitty night of fights. So that's another one to watch. And she's minus 490, by the way. And then
guys, there's something that doesn't make sense in this card. Karolina Kowalkiewicz is going to fight again after 5 losses, and after crying online on a IG live, she's going to get to fight Felice
Herrig.
Felice Herrig, who's a beast. I mean, she beat her before when I call her Felice Herrig her soft face, but now Felice is jacked and good wrestling. She's crazy. I saw her live on a Victory Fighting show, and I say hi. She gave me a little hug, and I was like, "Oh, this lady is made out of cement." It's crazy.
Felice, you're saying?
Crazy. Felice, yeah,
that's like Goldie. That's listen, USADA. Check the blood. Check the blood. I want to have. I'm envious of the veins and the muscle. All right, anyway, the muscles.
The back, dude. Her back.
Jacked. They're jacked.
Her count. It's insane. Yeah.
So those are weird fights that are in the prelims. I think actually those are probably fun to check out. But let's go ahead and start from the top to the bottom. Jair, I can never say his fucking name. Rosenstrike. Okay. Let's go with that versus Volkov. Who do you guys got?
Rosenstrike is weird. Like he has like weird power. Like he'll land like shots that don't even look like they land, and like they KO people, jabs, stuff like that. I mean, Volkov. It's probably gonna be a striking matchup. They're both strikers. Volkov is probably a little bit better technically, but I think Rosenstrike, he's very explosive. He's got power. I think he has 25 minutes to KO Volkov. I think we'll just randomly KO him round 2 or round 3. So I'll go with Rosenstrike KO mid-round.
Yeah, for me, I think Volkov has enough ground game and sweep takedowns to take down Jairzinho. Alistair Overeem, who's not known for great wrestling, was able to keep Jairzinho down for the majority of 3 rounds on their fight. Even though Jairzinho won by splitting his lip in 2, he was able to hold down. So I think Volkov with his size is going to be able to take him to the floor, control him, and get a decision or get a ground and pound finish or a submission, arm triangle or one with strikes from top. So I think Volkov takes it.
I am going to agree with you. I think Volkov has the unique set of skills and the body type that I think he should be able to pull this one off. More importantly, teach me how to say Jairzinho. That fucking messes up my tongue.
Jairzinho.
Jairzinho.
You know that his name comes from a football player from Brazil called Jair. That his dad is a football fan. So this is one of the football players that was in the World Cup where Pele last competed. And you know that like Charlie Oliveira, Charlinho. So they had that Inho at the end. Oh. Jair. So it's Jairzinho. That's his name is the nickname of that football player from the 80s.
Look at that. The more you know. Learning shit on Cageside. I appreciate that. I'm gonna call him Biggie Boy, which is his nickname because I can't pronounce it. Yeah.
Like an 80s rapper, right? Biggie Boy.
Biggie Boy. Dan Ige versus Evloev. Who do we got?
Let me start on that one. Ige has that Hawaiian heart. You have Max Holloway, BJ Penn, Dan Ige. Dan Ige is an absolute beast. Evloev is a great fighter, control fighter. His last fight, I don't remember his opponent, but his opponent was able to tag him a couple times and bring the fight to him. Evloev is great wrestler, great top control. He's not a knockout artist. He's not a great, he has some subs, but he's not a super aggressive submission attacker. He tries one submission every 15 minutes, according to his stats at UFCstats.com. I think Ige has an opportunity. He has a little window where he can be effective and touch him. But if Ige is not able to touch him, that's the interval. If Ige is not able to touch him in the first 7 minutes and put him in real danger, Evloev takes this decision. For the full fight. Is it a 3-round fight? That for the full 50 minutes. So Evloev might be able to squeeze a tight decision here. But Ige has a window. Is he able to? He's gonna be able to, cash in. I don't know, but I hope so.
What he said. That's what I'm going with. That was perfectly put. I'm joking. Obviously, we're trying to be funny, but I agree. I do agree with you. I think it's what Ige can do in the Ige. I'm terrible at fucking names today. Is whatever he can do in those first few minutes that are crucial. Is what's going to dictate whether he can pull it off or not. Chris, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, my sentiments are pretty similar. Ige could KO him. He has power early. But I think he got out-grappled by Zombie. I think Evloev has the high enough grappling pedigree where he could take him down, just kind of control him. Probably. He won't finish him. You guys very, very hard to finish, but I think Evloev can probably win the grappling scrambles and moments. But Ige could KO him. You never know.
I'm mixing them up. Who was the one that had the phantom knockout? Was it Ige?
That was Barboza with the guy like the delayed one.
The delayed one.
That was Barboza.
But wasn't it against Ige?
No, that was against Shane Burgos, who he KO'd.
Ige and Burgos. It's almost like a racist thing, right? Like they all look the same. Are they Burgos and Ige always? I get fucking confused between both of them.
They look quite similar. It's like coming from an island, Shane Burgos has that Puerto Rican DNA, and Ige has that Hawaiian DNA. So we eat a lot of pork.
By the way, I'm allowed to say that because I'm Puerto Rican. Just so nobody hates. I am allowed to say that. And by the way, for all those who don't know, there is a lot of Puerto Ricans in Hawaii, and there is cookies in Hawaii. I want to say too. Anyway, I don't know. Did you know that? Or am I making that up?
I didn't know that. I'm learning.
So, I think I saw a documentary a long time ago that because of the war, and a lot of Puerto Ricans ended up in Hawaii. That's why Hawaii is the only other place where like a coquille can exist or something like that. Anyway,
that would be wild. It's feasible. It's feasible.
I will look this up and correct myself if I'm wrong. Who's the one? Who's the one who? Oh my god! My fucking brain is mush. Who's the one that fights out of Boston with
Calvin Kattar?
With Kattar. Who's the Font? That's the third fucking guy who I confuse with Ige and Burgos.
That's wrong weight class right there. He's 135.
No, just who they are, the name, the person, the face.
He's Puerto Rican as well.
Man, Rafael, god damn it, he lost.
I know.
I love Cheeto. I made a video in Spanish. This is the funniest shit. I made a video in Spanish talking about how even though Cheeto won, Font was able to land a huge, greater volume. Man, he's from Ecuador, right? Cheeto?
Yes. Yeah.
The Ecuadorian fans came strong on that video and trashed me. We're talking, this video has like 400 comments and 90% of them are absolutely hate. And it's the video got like 50,000 views. I'm like, oh man, and everybody in Ecuador is just shitting on me. I'm like, okay, I get it. Cheeto's a superstar. I'll take it.
Listen, you're doing something right? If you're riling somebody up, you're doing it right. That's hilarious, man. So, well, I think we're good, right? Anything else we want to talk about? I think that's it for the fight for the night.
Oh, excellent. We start that 10-week stretch. It's going to be awesome, boys. We're going to be making content. You guys can have me here whenever you guys want. So,
love it. We'll keep on going with this thing. We'll wrap this bad boy up. Guys, if you're watching right now, please subscribe to Cageside Show on YouTube. Please follow as well on Instagram. And everybody, please share your social accounts and YouTube accounts with the show right now. Hit it.
You first.
Chris, what you got? What's your Instagram?
I might make a YouTube channel soon, so I'll link that whenever I do. But my Instagram is just Chris Jansen 77.
All right, Doc, wrap it up.
So my Instagram is Octagon Doctor, so OC Octagon, the word Doctor. I'm like that on YouTube in English. The channel is Octagon Doctor. In Instagram, Octagon Doctor. In Twitter, it's at Dr. Jared. So DRYARED, the first Puerto Rican doctor to be a certified ringside physician in the United States. So, and the first one to actually do injury breakdowns. And then a couple other doctors kind of went in there and are competing with me too. So support me because I'm cooler. Those other guys are nerds.
Fucking dweebs.
I'll fight them, dude. I'll fight them.
Let's do it. We can set that up. I don't know if we can, but we could try. It'll be the most cautious fight ever. Everybody's thinking about possible injuries. Listen, guys, thanks for watching. Tune back next week. We're back. He's got the belt. He's ready. See?
I got the doctor belt, man. Come and get it, nerds.
Come and get it, nerds. This ain't a Nacho Saturday. Let's go. All right, Cageside Show. We're out.